But now it's time to get to the main event, ladies and gentlemen. The moment y'all been waiting for. Now look, I watched the first Venom last week for the first time ever. Crash was shocked. He was like, "What? This is the first time you've seen it?" It's like, "Yeah, man, I had to watch it before I go see the new one. I want to know what's going on. I want to get caught up on the story. I want to know what the fuck to expect from Venom, Let There Be Carnage." So I watched the first one on Wednesday. And I walked away thinking, boy, can't get any worse than this. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Venom. Yes. Let There Be Carnage.
Let us.
Starring Tom Hardy, Woody Harrelson, and a goddamn shame, Naomi Harris. Tone. I'm just going to say it right now. I'm just going to blow through my points.
Okay,
I'm going to go through mine. I'm going to go through mine real quick. First of all, this is worse than the original. This is saying a lot.
Yeah, it's true.
It's worse than the original. Woody Harrelson has wasted his Carnage.
Mm-hmm.
You have a talented actor like Woody Harrelson, and you don't let this dude do his thing on the screen because you want fucking Venom and Eddie to go back and forth instead of letting Woody do his thing. Bad decision. Naomi Harris is criminally underused as the annoying character Frances Barrison. Look, Naomi Harris is a fucking amazing actress.
God, Seven Dungeons. Stop.
She's an incredible actress. And she plays Shriek. She yells. She screams the whole time. Shame on you. The bantering between Venny and Adam was overkill. Should have been funny, but they did it through every single fucking scene. Any time that any character was going to explain or could have explained something interesting, Venom and Eddie were going at it back and forth. And it was annoying. It was fucking stupid. The finale, like the most of the movie, was loud and stupid. It's a loud movie. It's really loud. This movie sucks. This movie fucking sucked. It was a stupid movie. I walked out of the theater. I was sitting next to Prime during one scene. He was like, "Wait a minute, what's going on?" And I seriously said to Prime, "Who fucking cares?
That made me laugh.
Who fucking cares?
Yeah, that made me laugh.
This movie sucks. It's a shitty movie." Now, I'm done. As a fan of Venom and the character and everything that he represents,
yeah.
Tone. The microphone's yours.
There was a young lad in
boy.
the southwest corner of Saginaw County growing up.
Oh, boy.
Loved comic books. Loved, in particular, Spider-Man. Loved the art and the brilliance of Todd McFarlane, who is the visual creator of so-called Venom here. Longtime fan of Symbiote. One of the greatest comic book runs of all time, which I have almost all singularly, and the trade paperback, thanks to Captain Cronzy, actually, of Maximum Carnage. Was completely enthralled. The video game, remember the video game, the red cartridge on your Super Nintendo, soundtrack done by none other than Green Jelly. anything Symbiote, anything Venom, anything Carnage. Carnage was the guy, right? Okay. Saw the first Venom. First Venom, guess what? It was okay at best.
No, it wasn't.
I appreciate what they were trying to do. Okay? Sony's out there trying to do something cool. We got the rights to
Shame on you,
Spider-Man
Sony.
shit. Yeah.
Sony.
Oh, yeah.
Sony, I mean.
Yeah. So this fucking movie comes out. I'm actually excited. I was actually excited because I thought there was going to be some good link with the end credits. I had some high hope. We've seen a lot of MCU movies come out. There's a formula out there, right? You'd think Sony would take some notes. No, they just want to make a little bit of money. And holy fuck. Listen, there's been very few movies where I've sit in a theater. I've only walked out in one movie my entire life, very honestly. This one crossed my mind. There was a point when it crossed my mind, I was getting so fucking
That's why
annoyed.
you were moving around
And
so much.
I was, yeah. I was very, very, very scared. Cherry, just stop that right now. My first thoughts of this movie, the one word I have for you is trash. PG-13, 90 minutes worth of trash.
PG-13.
That alone. His escape from actual prison that he was in, oddly not Ravencroft, which was Ravencroft, whatever it is, shows already the lack of commitment to the character. And yes, I have some notes, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me.
He's got notes.
Slapping cops and not killing them. That was already like they're going into already that some of the stuff with some of the other things going on in the dialogue. Getting to that point already in the first like half hour or whatever it was just like, oh shit. That tells they already didn't have any commitment to this fucking character and they were just looking for a cash grab. Much like the first, the story didn't allow any of the characters to develop, so you couldn't be truly invested. Some with Eddie, they really tried. They really did on both movies, but it just wasn't compelling. I mean, they did what they could with Cletus. However, you don't need much to with Cletus, because part of the problem here is that the whole background story of Carnage. And listen, let me say this at least too. I understand from different medias you have to at some point adapt. I get that, especially for a 90-minute fucking movie. Apparently 90 minutes in 2000.
90 minutes.
90 minutes. Maybe it's
not 91.
Must be 1995
not 93,
again. No.
Barely 90 minutes.
Fucking minutes is what we got of this goddamn shit. The early childhood connection with Shriek was completely stupid and useless. You know what we don't always need in fucking movies? We don't need fucking love and drama. Jesus fucking Christ. We need to get that trash out of here. Listen, it fits in the right medium, but sometimes, guess what? It doesn't need to be the main driver for fucking characters, especially characters that never had that as a main driver. Again, I understand they're going to adapt shit, but when you start adapting
if
shit,
you're going to adapt it, make it fucking meaningful.
Exactly. It distracted once again from this character being as evil a character as Carnage was in the comics. PG-13. Let's not forget that. And I also like to point out the fact that Carnage was originally created, technically, and you can go back and look at the face and how he looks in the early comics. He was created to be Spider-Man's fucking Joker. And you're giving him love as some fucking driver, some early shit. Listen, him and Shriek were basically boyfriend and girlfriend, mommy and daddy of their little soiree and their little family in Maximum Carnage. He literally broke her out of Ravencroft when they were leaving because she was also in this insane asylum. He wasn't even there. He's been on a fucking murdering spree that they can't prove, and he's in some maximum security prison while she's tied up in a fucking room with a bunch of things around her because she's a mutant banshee. And he's always, it's got some bars behind me. The fuck does that eat? Like, that doesn't, again, that shows no commitment to the fucking character, Sony. This character is supposed to be completely menacing. He's a cold-blooded killer with no actual drive. That's what makes these characters pretty fucking crazy nuts. There's different degrees of chaotic evil in some way. You look at Joker, and you can debate that character all the time because there's been so many different mediums of him.
Mm-hmm.
A character like him, we still don't fully know what his driver is because even the Joker movie, we don't even know if that was the true Joker, right? Carnage was just driven by fucking insanity. Again, which shows there was no commitment to the character. Woody was perfectly cast for Cletus Cassidy. Now, don't get me wrong.
Awesome.
He changed his hair about 2 or 3 different times. What the fuck was that all
Weird.
about? But I mean, that's just really nitpicking. I was expecting, guess what? Natural born killers. Because guess what? That's what you would expect from a character like fucking Carnage. Somebody that Woody Harrelson should know how to tap into, except, guess what? He was restricted by shit writing in a goddamn stupid movie. That's not what we got at all, and it's a fucking shame. Was he entertaining? Absolutely. He had his moments. But being driven by Shriek's love once again and all that stupid bullshit distracts from the core character. Distracts from that. Because that's not something that would ever have driven that character, at least early on. The point is that Carnage and the things that he were doing had no fucking rhyme or reason. He goes on listen in the comics he goes on mindless murder sprees, just killing children and families, just jumping in Central Park, slashing a couple people dead, and just jumping away and doing whatever the fuck he has.
He's a psychopath,
right? Because he's having a good time. But here again, PG-13 had to restrict us, and he was questing for drama apparently. Awesome. The stuff with Eddie and the Tom Hardy back and forth, like with Venom and all that shit, it was just hard to understand. Like Venom was talking over him. The bickering really got old. Like, really, listen.
I feel like that could have been a strength of the fucking movie, honestly, but it was just every fucking moment.
How is this supposed to be a symbiosis if it's just going to be doing that shit the entire time? It came full circle at the end, but you can't tell me that they didn't figure it out at the beginning of the first fucking movie, between the time till we get to this fucking movie, to make it like an actual combativeness with Carnage. Maybe, I guess we wanted the fucking back and forth goofy ass drama. I'm going to get some nitpicking stuff, but we'll get to some big stuff. The sides of the symbiotes were a little too much. They don't get that fucking big. That was fucking stupid. They're not like fucking superhuman tall giants. That was ridiculous. I get it. The symbiote can make you like you're on platform heels. It was completely unnecessary, and it just made them look more fucking dumb because you expanded their size. The Venom symbiote being like all good and fun shit it was doing. After all that time, again, they should have been one. And it shouldn't have waited to the end. That should have happened a lot sooner. It was lame for the separation drama. That shit has happened somewhat in the comics as well too. Like the Venom symbiote becomes more like self-aware, more symbiote, and can do that stuff. But here we go again. Bullshit, useless fucking drama. He goes out on a fucking like partying.
Goes to the rave.
The fuck out of here. What kind of trash was that? Listen. I didn't know I was paying for high school drama. Carnage. What made him unique originally in the comics and everything was that he instantly, when the symbiote hits him, they become merged as one. It gets into his bloodstream. Cletus welcomes it because he's insane. He's fucking nuts. It was just completely integrated. That's actually why he's red. Not the red one. It was because it integrated into his bloodstream instantly. That was the whole point why he was red. It's the little fucking shit, Sony. This is why the MCU would kick your ass if you keep doing this shit. The action scenes were super meh. The car scene and all the symbiote goo in the middle of the car scene. Okay, there was some explosions, cool, but what was the fucking, like, it just looked like fucking gum on the bottom of his shoe all over. Like, yes, we know, especially like Carnage, the symbiote is a little bit more like moving and like metamorphosis and all this shit. Was that necessary? Why was that even necessary? And at the end of the day, here's the thing. And this is just the pros, ladies and gentlemen. I'll get a couple cons in there for you. Sony, listen, I get it. MCU's out there making money. DCU, listen, you've tried the same shit. There's a formula that works. You might not agree with it. You might not want to wait that long. But guess what? That's what's making the fucking money. I have no idea, Sony, what you're thinking besides just pumping out movie to make money. I don't really know. I really don't. Because you're clearly not doing anything for any of the actual like longtime fans at all. Thank you. With how well the MC movies do, how they're even formatted, presented, how do they think this is okay to showcase to anybody? Very honestly, I want that answered. And that, that's part of the problem. Also part of the problem is apparently a lot of people like the fucking movie. And that poses a question to me. Are the general audiences at this point, maybe because of the pandemic or just generally because of all this stuff, are we at this point now where we're just getting so complacent with shitty fucking movies, flashy fucking action scenes, subpar effects, that we don't even give a shit about either source material or storytelling? I'm completely baffled at this point. There is it's like there's some lack of either integrity or something. Like we don't care about substance anymore. And I get it. Listen, certain things make sense because that's what they're meant to be. A casual audience or whatever it might be. This is based off fucking source material. We look and talk about Game of Thrones that shits the bed that didn't have any source material, and half the time they're still adapting it. This isn't just like throwing out a fucking Guardians of the Galaxy movie, throwing something to the wall and saying these are obscure characters, let's make a movie, see if it works, and it works. This is fucking These characters don't exist if Spider-Man doesn't exist. That was the first problem I had with the first movie. You don't see a big fucking spider on Venom because they didn't have all the rights. They were kind of loaning out to fucking MCU. Figure it out. I don't fucking know. Maybe don't make the fucking movie. Maybe just not put it out to say, here's a Venom movie. Like, it's almost like they don't have a fucking plan or they don't care. And I'm literally like, this is very frustrating for me. And the reason why it's so frustrating is because these are, again, similar to some of the other things we've talked about on here. These are characters that were very, very important to the young Tone living out in the rural woods, going to Walmarts or comic book shops when he can and getting comics. Spider-Man and Spawn were my two main drivers, right? And Venom was a big piece of that. Carnage was a big piece of that. And to finally get Carnage in live action, and this is what we get, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself, Sony. You really should be. And listen, if you enjoyed it, guess what?
That's on you.
That's on you. That's on you.
And the reality is, Tone, it's crazy to think about, dude. Not only did this movie have an audience rating of above 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, this movie made more money than Shang-Chi and Black Widow in their opening weekends. This is one of the highest grossing, if not the highest grossing movie of 2021.
Cherry to that, I will say that we're also comparing a comedy that's not taking itself seriously and completely a goofy farce of a non-reality versus something that, at the very least, is trying to take itself seriously and can't land that landing. Here's some pros for you because I'm going to diverge on this as well too.
These are good.
$90 million in the first weekend. Yeah, well, I'm going to
pose
that
question. It made good money.
I
mean, just Canadian. Yeah. There's no doubting. I mean, we can sit here and I can sit there and say this movie is trash. Okay, I don't mind saying I don't care. I didn't enjoy this movie. I thought it was shit, just like the first movie. The first movie was not good. This movie was even worse. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters to Sony is it made $90 million its opening.
Here's what I'm going to say to you on that one as well, too, Canadian. And again, I'm going to pose the question again about the general audiences just being complacent with shit because it's got flashy effects and it's certain characters. At the end of the day, you take these characters out of this movie, it's still a shitty movie and a shitty story. Elfine. That's just the bottom line of it. Elfine. Here's the pros. I'm going to give you a few pros, though, too. Venom sounds like Venom. Venom, since the first movie, in my head, that's a pretty good sounding Venom. I really enjoy the sound of him. Some of the jokes are funny. Some of the bits are funny. But it's just that the banter can be good. It's just too much. That's just it. Like,
there's
it was
more
too
misses
much.
than hits.
Yeah, it like really almost like overshadows the fact that Tom Hardy's even in the movie. Listen, Carnage looked pretty good. He was almost too fleshy in some ways, which is very also specific. They got some of the weapons that looked right, and honestly, him shooting the things out of him is a very Carnage thing, and that's not something that I don't think either a lot of people realize or know. That was really awesome to see that because that's something they easily could have missed. So there were some real nice nuances that Sony decided to put in a bag of trash. There was some good nods and call-outs to some other things. Openly talked about the symbiote hive, which is awesome. That can go all the way to the Black King and the sword and everything. That can be really deep. So that's kind of exciting because they can explore that, and they'll probably do that, and it'll be trash as well, too. I'd like to point out that, as once again, my root beer I had that night was delicious. That was a pro because there was not much else to fucking talk about as a pro. My root beer was fucking awesome. So thank you, Imagine, for once again having root beer on tap. I really appreciate that. Listen, we all know that this was a shit show of a movie to roll into a bullshit. Maybe we all don't know that, and I could care less if you think it's good or not. But I'm telling you right now, it was all a work up and a lead up to the end credit, and that's what
which is by far.
There's not even close. There's
like whenever I hear somebody saying, "Oh, it was a standing ovation when we went and saw this movie," you were standing up to the end credit scene, which would have been fucking amazing had not the preceding 90 minutes been total trash. Look, the end credit scene is fucking dope.
Yep.
It's dope.
And there's a lot to dive into there.
It confirms a lot of this shit that people have been suspecting or conspiracy thinking about, that this is where the MCU is heading. I love the idea of a movie where Tom Hardy is with Tom Holland. Mm-hmm. But damn it, it doesn't change the fact that the fucking 90 minutes before that were shit.
Yeah.
Like, when I saw the end credits scene, I was sitting next to Tone and I was like, holy fuck, that's rad. And then it hit me. I was like, oh, but is it really? What have I seen in Venom 1 and 2 that has me fucking hyped about this character being injected into the MCU? Other than the fact that maybe Sony won't have anything to do with his future appearances.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what it is.
Well, the problem is that because this movie was so shit, it made that part almost anticlimactic. Like, it almost, like, it didn't, like, is it a redeeming factor? That could be a debate.
I think it's exciting because the fact that it just confirms what everyone's saying. Cool, the multiverse exists.
Yeah. And
it's wild.
And you're bringing in two circles. You got the Sony MCU they want to build, and you got, that is cool. That's great.
That's great, but it doesn't change the fact that they have done a piss-poor job with the Eddie Brock and the Venom characters.
Right.
Those movies still suck. Cool. The MCU and the multiverse thing further confirmed. Awesome. The movies still suck.
Yeah.
The character still sucks.
You take the characters out, the movie's still a shitty story.
Eddie Brock sucks.
Shitty story.
Venom sucks. Carnage sucked. Cool end scene, bro.
Yeah.
The movies sucked.
Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, again, like, it wasn't a good movie. And you know what, Just Canadian, complacent with shit, you know what? It is what it is. I don't know how often you are able to catch all the shows, but I'm going to tell you right now, this is what we do is we break down movies. And there's plenty of movies where I say, you know what? I like this movie. It was okay. I didn't care. Like, I try to be pretty objective. However, if it's something that I have been invested on and has a deep lore built for, I don't know, 30 fucking years, I think it's okay to have some expectations, and we should all be doing a little bit better for holding those expectations. We should expect a little bit more. This is fucking Sony. We've got the MCU, which is
Sony's
great.
renowned for fucking this shit up,
MCU
man.
is creating this shit, and we see DC struggling to do that. You would expect maybe somebody like Sony with also a lot of money to come in and do that. So I don't think it's unrealistic to have some form of formality or some form of expectation. Now, listen, I understand that we got to be careful of expectations because guess what? We're going to be let down a lot. That said, this isn't just like some willy-nilly something. They're not, like I said, they're not pulling Guardians of the Galaxies out of some random ass. These are characters based on a long-time standing character. These are beloved characters. So you do have to be a little bit careful when you do these things. You know, and I don't think it's wrong. Like, look at my Mortal Kombat video, for fuck's sake. Like, it's the same kind of thing. This is something that I've been invested in for 30 years. I'm going to take it seriously, and I think it's okay to take it seriously. If general audiences want to enjoy that, that's also on you too.
And I just want to comment to Just Canadian. You know, he said complacent with shit or just out to enjoy a movie and breaking it down. I love you guys, but I don't go through the deep dive into a movie. I just enjoy something. Just Canadian, I want you to know right now, honest to God, I respect your thoughts on stuff.
Yeah.
I respect your opinion on stuff. I will never sit there and discredit you as a person. I'll never discredit your opinion because that would be some bullshit, and that would make this show bullshit. I want you to come in here and share your thoughts. I want you to come here and debate what we have to say, knowing that we respect you, knowing that we respect your opinion, knowing that this is a safe space to lock horns or just share different opinions.
Yep.
Honestly, man, and that's why I love doing this, because I feel like our community knows. Look, like Cherry, she's like, man, this is the end fucking sucks. And Tone's like, what? But at the same time, the mutual respect is there. I don't ever want anyone to feel like they can't have a different opinion than us. Ever. We love the different... Dude, if the world agreed on everything, not only would it be a safer place, it'd be boring. In a way, it would be boring. I know it sounds terrible because, you know, conflict is terrible. But at the same time, there is that middle ground where you can have a difference of opinion. And I will never, ever,
Ever, J Hill.
ever discredit somebody for a different opinion. So Just Canadian, I don't ever want you to feel like you can't come in here and be like, look, you guys are full of shit. This movie's fucking awesome. You provide your opinions. You provide why you like it. And I will never sit there and say, you're full of shit. Because I respect you. And I respect everybody that comes in here and counters anything that we say.
But
that's the beauty of doing a show like this. We don't want the fucking hive's mind.
Right.
We don't want to sit there and have everyone be like, yes, we agree. I want people to come out and be like, know what? Fuck you. I want Tricky Region to come in here and say, go blue.
I don't. Ban him.
Not going to ban him. But honest to God, don't ever, anyone ever feel like you have to explain why you disagree with what we say.
Right.
The only way this show succeeds is if there is good discussion.
And what I'll also kind of piggyback that is like, while I understand that they're trying to get general audiences and there's things like that, but everybody else has to understand that there are some of us that are very passionate about things that we enjoy and have loved for a long time. And when you want to be excited about something like this and you're not, it's going to be you're going to take it pretty serious. And that's my standpoint. I am perplexed because we've seen some certain things with movies over the pandemic and certain things and people enjoying some things. When you stop and say, you know what, just from a storytelling standpoint, it's not a good story. Why are people enjoying it? It's quizzical. I'm trying to find that answer. But this is something that I honestly take to heart a lot. This is something I really, really was wanting to be excited about. And I couldn't be because it's absolute trash.
And look, I'm not, and my perspective is obviously, and I always tell you guys, girls, this, I am not well versed.
Yeah, King. Yeah.
In the Marvel comics. Yeah. I am not well versed like Tone and many of you. I just know what I know based on the movies I've seen and based on what I've heard. And I will sit there and I will look at a movie and I will say, look, I like this movie or I didn't like this movie. And I will list the ways I don't like this movie or I don't like that movie. Venom to me is a bad movie. It's a bad movie. It has poor character development, in my opinion. It has shitty special effects and really shitty battles, in my opinion. That's just what I look for in a movie. I like comic book movies that actually explain the comic book origins. I don't know shit about Eddie Brock. I've seen 2 Venom movies. I know next to nothing about Eddie Brock. I know nothing about Carnage other than they brought in the talented Woody Harrelson and they said, look, bro, you're just going to do what we want you to do. And they don't let him do his thing. And they don't explain shit because Eddie and Venom won't stop bitching at each other. They bring in Naomi Harris, who's an amazing actress. 28 days later, she's fucking Moneypenny in the Bond. Her character, Moneypenny, in the Bond movies has more depth than Frances Barrington in this movie. In my opinion, these are wasted, talented actors in a shitty movie.
Mm-hmm.
And if you enjoyed it, awesome.
Great question, Crash.
I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I'm glad that you shared why you enjoyed it. But I just have certain expectations that are different than yours. And that doesn't make your expectations wrong or mine right. My thing is I don't want Just Canadian to feel like they can't come in here, or anybody, they can't come in here and disagree with us.
No, I'm just going to rain fire on this shit.
He will rain fire. I will verbally question, but respect you. So I love this show.
Fire.
I don't, honest to God, man.
Shit.
If we all agreed on everything, I wouldn't do a show.
Yeah.
Wouldn't do a show. So, Just Canadian, I don't know if you're still out there. We love you. Don't ever hold back your thoughts on stuff. Or anybody, for that matter.
Unless you like this movie.
Knock it off. All right.